Oh, Shannon got it.
Okay, folks, thanks for being here, and very good afternoon to all of you. Public comment? Anybody? Good.
Yeah, I'd like to say, I'm speaking myself, and perhaps for my wife, can't always be certain about that, but
I'm learning that too.
just let me say that I personally, and I know a lot of my friends in the community, appreciate the job you, the commissioners, are doing. And for myself, I want to thank you for the time you give and the effort you give to this fire department. Keep it up, even though you don't see many public here. The fact that no one's here indicates that the things are going well here. So I would take that as a positive response, not a negative response, because there's not a lot of people here. A second comment I have is, I guess it's more rather than a comment, just a question. You know, I get so much political literature from both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and in the past I've given both parties. I'm really an independent. But this mail keeps coming in, and I have a wood stove in the bottom of my house, so every now and then I just stack the stuff in there and I light a match, and a bit of smoke comes out as it burns out of the fireplace. Am I breaking the law by running that fire stove at this time? You know, it's a completely checked out system with a brick chimney and everything. It's very safe.
Bruno, you can only burn the ones that are truly inflammatory.
Like, you know, it says,
You can only burn the ones that are truly inflammatory.
Oh, okay. Burn them all.
Is it similar to newspaper? Is it paper
Yeah,
like this?
it's letters that come in, newsletters, requests for money, this kind of stuff. You know.
You know, there's understanding that people need things to start their, fires with. We prefer that you are burning aged wood and you're burning it to keep your home warm.
Yeah.
We do not allow trash to be burnt inside a residence or outside a residence. That needs to be disposed of properly, just because of the contaminants on the waxy paper that you get, the plastics, those types of things. So, general newspaper for decades has been used to start your wood,
Sure.
for fire. But to just burn trash in and of itself, I'd have to say no to that. Because of what it off-gases to the environment, because of the plastics, the overage of some of those newspapers, that type of stuff. So if
Sure.
it has a sheen to it, I'd have to say probably no. If it's regular, just general paper that you can wad up and start a warming fire with, I would say yes, but not just to burn trash.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Why did you have to ask that, Bruno?
Sorry?
Why did you have to ask that?
Did someone say something to you, or are you just coming up with that as a question?
No, I just had a question because, when I throw this stuff in there, a little smoke is created, but it burns off fast. And
One way of looking at it, at least for us, we're all getting to an age we need to be looked after. A little smoke comes out of your chin, you're okay.
yeah, that's the point.
where's
Hey, he's home.
We had a question today regarding burning, and we had an individual that came in and asked if they could burn their newly cut twigs and stuff like that in their recreational fire pit. The answer to that is really no at this time, because that is not seasoned wood. So a recreational fire pit is supposed to be briquettes or seasoned firewood to burn in that recreational fire pit, not something that you just cut down in your yard and then you decide to burn it in your recreational fire pit. That is considered a residential fire. That's your saplings, your limbs, those types of things. We're looking for that aged wood to be in those recreational fire pits. Or, as far as I understand, people who have propane fire pits, those are allowed year round,
Sure.
even in a complete burn, because they're not producing sparks. At that point, they can float and cause a wildfire fire. So, my pit at my home, I'll probably end up making propane or a combination of the two, just so if we do have a burn ban, we can burn or have a recreational fire, even if that's part of the burn ban. It was a question I asked the fire marshal's office last year, and it had never been posed with a question like that in the past, but they gave me the go-ahead that a lot of people bring in propane fire, little decorative fire pits now,
Sure.
and we were running on a lot of those because they look real from a distance, but when we arrive, we allow them to continue burning those.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for your kind words.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else? No? Approval of the minutes of last month. You made a change, just 5-10 minutes ago to page number 5.
Six.
I'm familiar with the reading. I would move that we approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Thank you, Michelle. Go ahead.
Financial report dated August 10th. The August warrants total $32,043.18. The total for payroll is $16,254.50. And that includes chief salary at $4,212.50 and assistant chief Shields pay of $2,750. There was one event for each commissioner and secretary. The total payout for volunteers, warrants included, is $11,076. Your financial statements for July are in your meeting books, and we are looking for a motion to approve the warrants for August in the amount of $32,043.18, payroll of $16,254.50.
Thank you, Betty. Shannon or Stan?
I'll go first. I'm always picky. On page 2, there's a Ken Bruce.
Oh, that should be good, yes.
Okay, and what is it? Who is Kent Bruce?
How much, what is it for?
Kent Bruce is a
It's a small
is a
amount.
Wayland strobe light dealer.
I'm sorry?
He supplies the strobe light bulbs for our light bars on our trucks. So we had some
For the emergency.
we had some bought some replacement bulbs.
Just wasn't clear,
Yeah.
so I wanted
So
to...
his business is specific to his name?
Yeah,
if I
Kent
remember
Bruce
correctly.
Industries.
And I will change that, thank you for catching that.
And then on page 3 of that, there's a series of here, Pacific Power Group.
That's for the yearly maintenance on the generator.
Oh, okay, good, thank you. And then there's 2 Security Solutions.
Fire extinguisher servicing.
Okay, good, that clarifies that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nope.
I
no
don't
problem.
know, so I've got to ask, so.
Nope, no problem.
And then we came down, and then I noted as I came over, here I am, picky again, those items that I just asked about are all marked up in the account number of 6630. How can they all come out of the same account?
6630, what that is, that object, that's an object code account, that's not ours. That is what the county codes them. So
Okay.
if it's code 7190, it's just a regular purchase. If it's something that, for instance, the Security Solutions, they provided us a service, servicing the extinguisher. Pushers, that's more of a service. So
Okay.
by coding at 6630, once they get to $650 and receive funds, it generates a 1099 for them at the end of the year, meaning monies they need to claim taxes.
Once again, thank you for the clarification. Because it just, at first appearance, it looks to me as though, well, we didn't know what to write it off against, so we threw it in there.
That's all. So you only see those three codes. 6630 is services, 7190 is just general purchases, and then the
Okay.
6635 is medically related.
Is what?
Medical related for Unity Care Northwest, if someone goes for physical.
So Commissioner, anything, we itemize everything per our budget. So when any bill that we have.
Well,
is
I looked in
itemized.
the budget and I couldn't find
Yeah.
6630, and I thought,
Yeah, it's a county
I don't
code.
put our codes on here. This is just kind of a generic form for the county.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's clarification,
Sure.
my ignorance, so.
Oh, you wouldn't
No,
know.
it means,
No, no.
we don't have.
And then you also have a warrant, or a couple of warrants that have to be part of this. Well, you want a separate motion on those, yeah.
Yes.
Cancel. That's all my questions.
Thanks, Dan. How about you, Shannon?
I just had questions, what are we buying from Unity Care Northwest? We've got a charge of 180 and 119.
That's physicals for new hires.
Gotcha, okay, cool. That's all I have.
I have a couple motions then.
Okay, I'd like to make a double motion. The first motion being to approve the warrants in the amount of $32,043.18. And the second motion to approve payroll in the amount of $16,254.50. Those are two motions that need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion's approved.
And then I'll go ahead and make the next motion, ordering the cancellation of the warrants that are more than 1 year old. You want me to read the warrant numbers, or do you have?
It's a resolution, Stan.
It's a resolution? Okay, good. Don't need a motion then.
No, we need a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2016-2?
Yes.
Okay, budget update.
Yes,
Last item
budget
for you.
update. Yes. After everything has been posted as of July 31st, we currently have a budget remaining of 49.11%. And taxes to date, we've collected roughly about 56% of taxes for the year.
Okay. So we're in good stead.
Yeah.
So we're still within an acceptable window
Yes.
in our budget, where we're still looking at a 10%, approximately 10%.
Yeah, with about 5 months left.
Quote unquote profit or food and rate money. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your report, appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, by the way. Chief correspondence,
Never.
none to report, thank you. Unfinished business, anyone?
Chief's report.
Chief's report, right, chief, go ahead, why would I forget you?
I don't
Chief,
know.
can you,
I like giving my chief's report.
chief, can you keep it concise, to the point?
Yes, it really has not changed.
What?
So there's really nothing's really changed.
Okay.
Chief's report for August 2016 for July of 2016. Please call your homeowners or call their insurance companies to check for ISO rating change. The letter is back up on the website. It's the WSRB letter, and it's in the news flash area. So if you need it for your insurance to prove that our ISO rating has changed, that's the letter that you can print off from the website itself. If you need additional help, please contact me, and I'll do what I can with your insurance companies. AFG notification update. We still have the award number. I've not been officially contacted with a congratulations letter or any funding at this time. So it's taken a little bit to get that out, but we still have the award number, so I'm just waiting for the funding and the congratulations letter.
And that's for the 160,000
Yeah.
for the,
160, so that's for the SCBA grant, which is around 160,000-ish. Nothing to report on the apparatus. Member roster has not changed, still 45 members, 27 Canadian, 9 Point Roberts, 9 County, 6 paramedics on staff, 16 EMTs, which of 5 are advanced EMTs, 4 ambassadors, 36 firefighters. I would like to congratulate 2 of our members, Captain Brad Lutz, who finished his EMT training. He'll be state certified, hopefully within the next month. And Christy Steinberger, who was successful at completing her advanced EMT training as well. And hopefully she'll be certified with the state of Washington. Both have passed their national registries. And then now we just have to send in the paperwork to the state and have them certified here so they can start practicing. Volunteer hours for the month of July, 2,749. Volunteer payroll, if all were getting paid, 12,265. Chief combined hours, I worked 126.5. Assistant Chief Shields, 141. Total 267.5. Had a pretty busy month. We had 28 calls last month. We'd love to do that on a consistent basis, almost a call a day. EMS calls, we had 11. We transported 3 people to St. Joseph's. We had 6 no transports, 1 to Medic 45 out of Ferndale, and 1 to North Whatcom Fire Rescue. 1 public service. We had 16 fire classifications. We had 4 permitted burns, 3 illegal burns, outdoor burns. We had 3 false alarms. We had 1 power line down, and we had 1 structural response. We had 2 hazmat calls, and we got canceled twice before leaving the station. So that concludes my fire chief's report.
What would those hazmat calls be like?
Interesting that you asked that. So one was on a barrel, a 55-gallon drum that washed up on the beach over by the reef. And we went down there, used our binoculars, and we were treating it as something that could be hazardous to us. We got a phone call on it, went down there, and it ended up being lubricating oil from Chevron in a 55-gallon drum that obviously had fallen off some type of ship. We called them that day. They were here the following day and picked it up. That's how efficient they were. And Bob Jewell helped us out. He brought his little tractor out, brought it up on the beach, loaded that up, took the 55-gallon drum onto land, and then that's where they picked it up. So I met the courier service out there the following day to help them load it. What was the second hazmat? Oh, the fireworks. Yeah, the fireworks on the beach. So the cleanup that we had to do with all the
Unexploded ordnance.
unexploded ordnance after the.
So we still have that ordinance?
We still have that ordinance in the shipping container outside. It is still underwater. I was notified or received an email from the fire marshal's office asking if we were still in possession of that, and I responded absolutely yes. We are still in possession of that, and I hope that they are able to come up with the disposal units sometime in the near future.
maybe we could call Chevron.
Yeah, Chevron may come by and get fireworks the next day. They may want to do that for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the second hazmat.
Any more questions? Shannon, questions? Terry, any more? Nope. No?
We'll go to the list.
Yeah, under new business.
Yeah, Chief, why don't you continue? You'll have a wish list here. Again, please keep it concise.
We're under new business. New business. Yeah. So I was asked to produce a list regarding future capital expenditure needs. And right now we have a current list. It's not an all-inclusive list, just because it's hard to propagate out, even 5 years. But we do have 10-year plans, 15-year plans. So I put it into 2 sections, general and building. So under general, capital needs are personal protective equipment, bunker gear, which includes helmets, gloves, hoods, bunker jacket, pants, boots, those types of things. A new fire engine, a brush apparatus that will take the place Battalion 58, which was our Dodge pickup this time. We've had numerous conversations about the type of apparatus because of the geography that we have here on Point Roberts. And we've come up with the decision that getting a Gator type, a 6x Gator type apparatus that has wildland capability on the back of it, which is equivalent to what we carry on the battalion right now, would be able to traverse the terrain we have here in Point Roberts much better than a pickup truck. So what we need to be thinking about in wildland firefighting is the ability to get back into the woods, and the Dodge pickup truck would not be able to do that. Nor is it going to be able to go across muddy fields because it's going to get stuck just like a regular 4x4 pickup truck. And it's very, very heavy because of the amount of water that it has on it. So we're looking at something, we have an ATV now. Well, it would be similar to that, but it would be a larger ATV with a 6-wheel drive component, so we can get into the most terrain possible here on Point Roberts. An ambulance, extrication tools. Right now we only have one set of extrication tools. Those are on engine 5802 or Big Red. Anytime Big Red goes into for maintenance, those extrication tools and some other tools have to be taken off of that apparatus and placed on the floor. We don't have room to place them into engine 58, so if we do have an extrication involving a vehicular collision, we would have to transport those in utility 5802, which is the Explorer. So the extrication tools that are now today are actually battery operated. That's the new generation of extrication tools. What we have is a very small unit that's gas powered with cords. So it can be cumbersome at times depending on how the vehicle is positioned with the cables that we have to put in place to run the tools. Firefighting hose, that goes all the way from 5-inch, which is the hose that we connect to the fire hydrants and that we bring into the side of the apparatus, all the way down to our 1 3/4. We are running out of replacement hose, and we need to purchase new. Scene lighting is something we found out that our need is great due to having the fires that we've had this year, most of them happening at night or going into the evening hours, and not having efficient or effective scene lighting to help our firefighters continue doing an overhaul type of mitigation. So scene lighting is something we're looking at to have more portable units, battery operated units that last for hours, that can be moved and placed in different positions throughout the scene. Nitrox or nitrox unit, that is a medical analgesic gas for people who have pain issues and may have a broken bone or some type of other medical type of pain or trauma pain, where our advanced EMTs will be able to administer that gas to the patient. It is self-limiting or self-administered by the patient. So all we have to do is really turn it on. The patient sucks on it until they get feeling better and don't have the pain. Then they stop breathing it. Once the pain starts coming back, they inhale it again. So it's an inhaled gas. And then multi-gas detectors. So we are short of detectors that can go beyond just carbon monoxide at this point.
Can I
So-
interrupt for a second?
Yes.
So the bunker gear, the PPE, the hose, the scene lighting, the nitrox unit, the multi-gas detector,
Yes.
those are all the things that we've already approved last
Correct.
month
So
based on
yeah.
if we get the school gear.
yeah, SCBA gear.
I call it school.
Yes, so the asterisks indicated next to the items means that that's what was part of what I've asked for in the $60,000, which was approved last month.
So you won't need more for those
Correct.
items.
Yeah, I just put them
Yeah.
as part of the general list. For the building purposes, we need to be thinking about painting the interior of the building, all levels, all locations. Remodeling the upstairs, making it more conducive to having firefighters bunking up there. Apparatus bay flooring, we've been dealing with that problem since I came into this organization probably in late 2010, 2011, before I took over the chief's position. The apparatus flooring, with the engines weigh a lot. We do have leaking, which all engines do, but that flooring was not placed with a curtain, with a drain underneath it, with a center drain. You'll most likely see all fire departments now have a drain in the floor with their fire apparatus. We may be able to do something and cut into that and create a drain or have one placed to where it would actually drain out into the system and go out into the street or into our current system like our curtain drain is doing. We just need to discuss that because we're starting to see concrete breaking up right at the large overhead doors, right as you look on the inside. And I think some of that is due from the years and years of water that sits there in pools. We do our best job to make sure that we pull our apparatus out, pull all the drains so we have less leaking. But it does pool up sometimes there. So that's just a consideration. Apparatus bay flooring as well, just putting a different type of flooring on top of what we currently have. So we have better aesthetics within our ambulance bay and engine bays. Flooring would be like Armor Tough is a brand of flooring that's out there now.
Can I interrupt you? So just on the draining issue, what is just like a ballpark idea of cost? Is that like a $5,000, $50,000 thing? Any idea?
It's going to take a lot of concrete cutting, and I'd have to say at least 10,000.
Okay, but not 50.
No, I would not see that it would be 50 because we're cutting a drain and putting a drain device in the hole that we cut, and piping that out into the drainage system that we currently have inside or out on the property. Yeah, I haven't priced that out.
No, I just kind of wanted to get an idea. I mean, it sounds really complicated, so I'm just thinking big bucks.
Yeah, it's all about concrete cutting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think the floor slopes. Does the floor slope in there where the water drains to any particular?
It drains out the door. So
The original base. It does drain out
the base. So it is sloped down to where the water runs out to the outside because it goes underneath the door.
And unfortunately, the drain itself, the water that comes out of that drain is heavily governed by building codes.
Yeah.
So it just can't go into perimeter drains. It's got to go into something.
Yeah, it's interesting because everywhere I've worked it's gone into the drains. They don't have a special collection system or anything like that, including District 7, where I work as a firefighter paramedic.
Yeah.
So I'll look into that. And I know you're very, very good at that, so maybe we can work together
Yeah,
on something like that.
I think it's something reasonably new, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it's required.
well,
But then again, the fire
at the
department-
time, it wasn't thought of because the trucks leak. They're designed to leak a certain amount to keep the seals lubricated, those types of things. But engine 5802, because of its age, it's leaking more and more. And now we believe we have a crack that is somewhere between the pump and the tank itself that we're going to have remedied when we put it in to service in October, November of this year. So I don't know what that cost is going to be, but if we can stop the leaking to the amount that is allowable or that it should be dripping, I think it would be better on the floor.
But this is, the leaking of the engines is having repercussions on the actual concrete floor.
Well, we can go out there after the meeting and I can show you.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that the whole reason to do the drain would be to save our concrete floor.
Correct.
I think the concrete is shot already. I don't think you're going to save that to a large extent.
Okay.
That's not the best condition, right, John?
Well, when they did I'm not sure what the thickness of the station floor actually is, but when they did the aprons out front, those are 14-inch thick aprons up front when they did those.
It shows, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So I'm not sure how thick the main bay floor
Yeah, the
is.
outside concrete is fine. It's where the outside and the doors come down to the inside, there's a crack there, and it pools the water, and you can see that the concrete's starting to chip up on it. We're starting to get holes.
So you would, so that it's really more than just a drain, it would be a drain we buck up to concrete? Is there a way to add another layer or
We
something?
don't know, now we're fishing for something we don't know what we're fishing for,
This
so
is
we
true,
need
I'm
to get,
just coming up with.
if you want to get more answers, we need to get an expert in the field out on this.
Yeah.
So, what I want you to do is when you look at the building items, when we get to the end item, I'd like to just go through and like talk about the top three. How's that?
Okay. Carpet replacements in here for some type of different flooring in the training room. We are having the carpet cleaners coming up in the near future to clean this. We have it once a year, so we have our carpets cleaned upstairs, down here in the offices once a year. So we do maintain them, but just due to the traffic and everything else that's on them, this was put in, I don't know when this was put in.
2011.
2011, so we're only 5 years old on this carpet. Like I said, there's Armor Tough flooring, and it's a beautiful flooring, but it's a rubber-based flooring, so it's going to last very, very long. It's something you don't have to clean, you just mop it, just like any other flooring. You don't have to bring in a carpet cleaner. Just an idea, but if we can't get out the stain that's in there, that's in the carpet right now, this big long one, it's something that I'd like to possibly look at down sooner than later.
You know, this is all hindsight we're talking about, we should have never installed carpet in this room.
No. You look at this seam that's fraying.
Right.
And
Anyhow,
But if you didn't have carpet, you'd have worse acoustics than you have right now. The
Yeah.
acoustics are horrible in this room.
so it runs down. Area one.
More flowers, yeah, flowers.
The next meetings that we're gonna have sofas up here.
Oh, sweet!
And you guys will have stadium seating reclining
Ottomans? Ottomans are
in
maybe?
the back. And we're gonna watch a movie after the meeting on a 110-inch screen up here.
That's a requirement.
So just while you all are walking around and stuff, just start the things that I would like you to start looking at and thinking about, so we can have quality conversations. And the downstairs kitchen, we all know the shape that the downstairs kitchen is in, and it does need some updating, some repairs, some beautification, because we do rent it out to the public, and it would be nice to make that a better area. A training tower. I will be going to the Chiefs Convention next week in San Antonio, and I have a contact from previous positions, and I'll be talking to them about a training tower. They specialize in our needs in places that are not close to other localities, and we'll see what they come up with. I'll try to bring back some information from that too. The training tower that I would be looking at would be going where the sandbags are, basically now. Before the open house, we'll have all those removed, and that'll be cleaned off. But it would be a small type of layout, building, 2 stories, maybe shipping containers, depending on the cost. I know I can get a building probably for $40,000 with shipping containers. That would be 2 stories in one area and 1 story in the other, so I'd have 3 shipping containers out there. For me, I'd rather build a nicer building out there, but it all depends upon cost. 2 stories, Class A facility, maybe combination propane, so our firefighters can get more firefighter training and live burn exposure, versus having to travel an hour and a half down to the county and taking an apparatus out of Point Roberts. It would be a win for the community as well.
So if it wasn't containers, I've seen the concrete towers, is that what you're talking about?
It would be a fab building that is capable of handling extremely high temperatures, obviously. So a metal building of some sort, or a concrete building that would be fabricated and put together on site. So there's a ton of options out there.
So how far would that have to be? You're talking about the sandbags, is that really far enough away from the structure? Okay.
Yeah, there's not going to be any fire that's coming, that would be possibly damaging this building.
Okay.
Exercise equipment. We're going to be moving the weight room that's here currently into the fire storage location, which is out in the ambulance bay. We have medical storage and then fire storage. We're going to be moving the exercise equipment into that room. The thing that will probably be left here will be the exercise bike because that is used with the physical therapy. That is theirs, which they allow us to use as well. So that's an idea that we're scoping out, moving the stuff that's in the fire room out into the container. We've kind of reached the capacity of, it's a big building, but there's not a lot of storage in this building. So we've kind of reached the capacity and hence the container on the outside to give us a little bit more capacity.
What do you need? What kind of equipment are you talking about?
We need to get an elliptical, we need to get most likely a treadmill or a stair mill, a different type of rack or bar setup over here to give us some more space to do pull-ups, those types of things, because the ceiling's pretty low here and it can have complications with our tower firefighters.
Chief, that's all the equipment. Are we missing a few? Or?
No, it's there. I was hoping not to turn around and all the weights are gone and everything's gone. I'm like,
Oh, the two bikes are in the ambulance
That's
bay.
what I mean.
Yeah, the 2 bikes are in the
the
ambulance.
2 bikes are already out in the ambulance bay because we didn't have enough room here. So I'd like to get everything out there. Exercise equipment I may be able to get some type of grants for that through AFG or private grants to help us purchase those things. But there's a whole lot that has to be in place in order to meet the requirements of those grants. Ambulance computer. So we're going into the technology age. We've been there. We're a little bit behind. I don't see myself putting MDTs, which are mobile data terminals, into the engines, which bring up our calls and everything like that. And we can talk to other people. I don't think that's a necessity here at this point because we can look everything up on our phones at this time. The same information that we can get on computers, we can have on our phones. So the computer I'm talking about would be a computer that allows our medical personnel to complete the report on the way back from the hospital. They have an hour and 15 minutes once they get on the road from the hospital. When and if emergency reportings or another software, depending on how the county is going to go, depending on the November election for an EMS levy increase, they plan on giving, or part of that increase would be providing computers and software to all agencies. So everyone's using the same reporting system. Right now, some are using Zoll, we're using emergency reporting, some people are using ISO, it just depends where you are. And there's not an ability to bring all that information together into statistical data for the system as a whole. So depending on that, we may get a computer through that if that is successful. If not, then I need to look at getting a computer so they can write up their narrative, which usually takes about a half an hour. By the time they get back here, they can be done with that, upload it into the computer system here, and finish their report within 15 minutes.
Any idea what a unit like that would cost?
It would have to be something that would be more beefy, not a computer like that, because it's going to be rocked around in the ambulance. So probably a tough book of some sort, either by Panasonic or by Dell.
Give me a number.
For one of those, just a basic, 2,000.
I think 2,500 in the Dell catalog.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Parking lot.
So parking lot, when it was resurfaced, we also talked about that it's going to have to be taken up at some point and repaved completely.
Yeah.
So that's in the future. It's doing well. The resurfacing idea was a great idea, and it's doing well.
Well, we were faced with that particular thing. I don't know what it would be now. It's probably about 130,000.
Yeah, that's what the estimate was at the time.
Yeah, and we got this for what, 12 or something?
Yeah, 12 something.
Yeah, so we can put a lot of 12s out there before we put 130.
Yeah.
But it's definitely still giving us trouble. We got weeds out there, so.
Yeah, we have weeds. Yeah, we have weeds.
It's workable for me, the way it is.
So to go back and give you like a
Priority.
priority list. So obviously underneath general, the asterisks are priorities, and those are already slotted to be purchased. The next, if out of the non-asterisk ones underneath general, would be an engine and a brush truck. So those would be, and probably I'd have to say extrication tools, just due to the fact that we don't have two sets. We like to duplicate. So if one of our rigs goes out, we have the same duplication on the other apparatus.
And you're
What
gonna,
would it cost to have another extrication set?
Around 50,000.
50? 5-0? You can haul a lot of extrication equipment in and out, a lot of engines.
yeah, but one thing is that the new generation is battery operated instead of corded, so they have a little bit more flexibility, but how many times have you used the extrication tools here?
It only takes one time.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, it does, but over the last 5 years, we have not had an extrication.
I've used them 3 times in 30.
Yeah, so it's not something that's used often, but let's say the other thing is why we like to duplicate. Like we have 2 ground monitors, baby blues on each rig, right? So if one fails, we have a backup. If our only extrication tools fail, then we will be waiting for another Whatcom,
Yeah.
because Delta Fire has stated they will not come in for extrication.
And you applied for a grant for a new engine last year,
Yes.
didn't get it, and
Don't know yet. They're
Don't
still
know
giving
yet.
out grants. It made it to the final review, which was excellent. I plan on resubmitting that grant along with the Life Act 15 grant again in August, September, when the
so
new,
this month, next month?
yep, when the new AFG timeframe comes up, and we should know by the end of the year if we get any one of those, plus a third grant, which I haven't decided what that would be at this point. But I'm pretty confident in the apparatus. I can tweak my narratives a little bit, get more points on my narratives, but even then, we made it to the final process, which was a big, a wonderful thing this last time.
Yeah.
So
let's go to the building.
So building, we're beautifying the outside. I'd really like to paint the interior of this building, and to make it nice for the public, to make it nice for us, get rid of the asylum type of coloring here for padded room purposes, I guess is what it would be for. And have a nice theme for the public down here that's using this room, offices, and the upstairs. The offices, I think, are fine. The offices we painted just a year or 2 ago, and they're doing fine. It's the general areas that need attention.
Well, Chief, come up with a plan, or delegate it to someone else.
Can you give us a couple more? So give me another priority. Give me 2 more priorities under the building.
Under the building, flooring.
This flooring,
Yeah, I'd have to say the training room flooring
okay?
and the upstairs flooring.
Okay, and so that's more important than the apparatus bay flooring?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, because the apparatus bay flooring is going to last. Even though it's chipping away, we could probably patch the areas that are chipping away.
Okay.
And John, what do you think about the third priority for a building?
Kitchen,
This kitchen or upstairs?
combination of the 2.
Now, this kitchen has to serve in an emergency, you know, the big, the prep room. That's one of the kitchens.
So that,
So it's
I think this
almost-
is more of a priority than upstairs, because upstairs we are fundamentally, it's working. And I bought a new island for them upstairs, so that's
yeah.
very nice for them now. They're very happy about that. It's just very, very strange, you know, the layout of the upstairs. So I think the downstairs kitchen would be a great idea, because it does have to serve an emergency. It would be our main cooking area. At that point, we could also use the upstairs, but having that capability here would
And
be.
if we did this one, couldn't the firefighters and everybody on the weekend come down and use this one?
Yeah, they won't.
No.
It's too much. They like to, when they have
The
downtime.
upstairs
they like to-
is quite, it's not really 100%, but it's not bad at all.
Okay,
This is a public shame.
right.
Yeah, I
Right
agree.
there, right behind that roll-up door,
I agree.
that shouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
So those are more important than the training tower to you right now?
Well, the training tower, yes. The training tower is something that I'll be looking at in 2017.
Okay,
And I might be able to go out for grants for that as well.
okay. And how much does something like that cost? Just very, very ballparkish.
Very, very basic, 50 to 100.
Okay.
Chief, why don't you appoint somebody to work in that kitchen? We've talked about it for some years now. Nothing is being done. That kitchen is exposed several times a year. And let's do something, okay? Let's appoint somebody and we'll make it work.
Okay, will do.
Okay,
I
can you
like
do
the
that?
idea of the interior paint, because I gotta tell you, this color just makes me gay. I mean, the paint is worse than the carpet to me, but they both are terrible, but the paint is just,
I mean, it's a big project.
It
There's a
is.
lot of wall
there is.
space here.
Yeah, there is.
Well, give it some thought again, and why don't you and the chief work on that? We don't want you to gag many times here.
Please just don't paint it blue or green. You
Okay,
got
but
your doors, we're not
they
gonna go in
it's very
it.
subjective. Okay, what you like, other people may not like.
Well, I think we can all agree that the yellow is whatever it is just,
We can do better.
we can do better, thank you.
We can do better. We can do better, for sure.
Okay, so maybe we'll have a start on the kitchen within a month or so, and look at the carpet here and the painting. Let's put that on the agenda for next month again, so we won't forget it.
Okay.
So you're switching his
I'm getting that
priorities.
now.
But
You're switching his priorities. He had interior paint, carpet, and then the kitchen. So you want kitchen, carpet, paint.
I don't care about the way you do
Okay,
it, as long as something gets done.
okay.
I think there's a lot to that kitchen that can be saved. It's not a total tear out. It's
Sure.
just that
The sinks are great. The sinks are stainless steel sinks. All of that stuff is great. There needs to be some patching. A dishwasher needs to be placed in there. It has a hole, but the hole's empty. The dishwasher.
you know, and we've got people to do that right here on the point.
Yep, yep, and so I can definitely call around and see and get some ideas.
Well, is there a reason we couldn't paint like one part of the interior at a time? Couldn't we do like this room and then the hall, I don't know, piecemeal basically, instead of doing it all at once?
We can do it either way, whichever way you want. I mean,
Oh, I don't care, I'm just saying.
I mean,
if we
as
just-
long as something gets done.
Right, but, and then we want to wait for the grant, right? The SBA.
Yeah, I'm not spending any of the 60,000, I'm not spending anything until I have the money from the grant, to know that's 100%, and that we can move forward with the grant. SCBA's, they did come up, they did show us the Scott packs. We had a few members within the organization that responded to my email. And they came up, and so we know what the direction we're going to be going on that, but I'm not spending any funds regarding the asterisk items until I have the SCBA funds.
And even have the asterisk items.
Correct. Yeah, I'm just doing general business right now.
Right.
Okay, anything else, Dan?
Nope.
Janet?
Appreciate the
Back
list.
to unfinished business.
Yeah, we can, where are we here?
Unfinished
We
business.
did chief
Yeah.
report and new business. So I wanted to go back to your blog idea,
Yeah,
because I keep bringing that up, because I think it's important. And I came up with an idea that I'd like to pass by you guys. So I was looking at the paper recently, and Meg was here last month. She's not here this month, so we don't have a representative from the All Point Bulletin here. But she was here last year, and the chief spoke at length about the grant that had been awarded for the SCBA's. Meg took about, I would say, 10 to 20 pictures. And so that got page 19 in the corner down here, even though that's $160,000, and that's multiple times some of the taxing district's budgets. So I think that,
3 years' work.
yeah, I
For the
think
chief
that
and the
I think that was really minimized something so important was minimized, and I wasn't pleased with it, given the fact that they do spill a lot of ink on questions raised in aftermath of handling of fire. That was on page 6 and took up almost an entire page. And then in June, they ran page 8, another good section right there, and then ran a letter that took up almost 2 columns that was inaccurate, and I know that the editor knew that it was inaccurate. So what I want to make sure is that we get the information that's important to this association and to our community out on a regular basis. And good, bad, or ugly, I think we just need to get our business more visible. And so to that end, in addition to the potential for a blog, what I'm thinking is creating a newsletter, like a one-page newsletter every month that we meet. And what I would like to do is kind of go through our agenda as we talk about it during the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting say, okay, so we're going to create a newsletter tomorrow, and it's going to have the information about the residential recreation burns. It's going to have information about the chief's wish list, and because I think we need to agree on what would be included in the newsletter, and that would go out to the community. And we would vote on that if we need to do that, or if you want to do that, we can do that. And then I could write up the newsletter, and then I would give it to the chief to basically publish that. And that would get, in my opinion, that would be the best way to get our news out, because it doesn't seem like we can rely on the All-Point Bulletin to get the important information that's out, that is happening here out there, and in a fair way. So that's what I would like to do. So does that make sense?
Well, it makes a lot of sense, and if you, I mean, your blog is a great idea, and how would you like that sent out to the public?
So there's a couple ways, or a few ways we can do it. We can attach it to the fire department's website, and I came up with the idea of maybe making a threefold thing like this, but really the only data would be just very limited, just to get information out. It doesn't need to be intense documentation. Holding it like that and putting little holders out in the community, maybe at the grocery store, maybe at the library, your fire department at work or something like that, so that people can open it and see what's important to the fire district, rather than having somebody else filter what they think is important for the fire district and the community. And then we could try Carol Fugi's point interface, and whatever else we could do to get.
But you just about named all the possibilities. We're just having minimum time to think about it. I think Fugi's way of sending out information is probably the best. I'm afraid if you go with flyers, well, one thing that's forgotten to be inserted, people forget about it, people lose them. Attaching it to the monthly meeting video, I wouldn't go that route.
Okay.
I think Fugi's website is probably the most read.
Okay.
She has a database of about 800-900.
Okay. So
Question, I don't know what her base is of people.
Over 600.
It's over 600.
I think it's well over 800, actually. The last time I heard the number was over 600.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
they
because you have, registered voters, there are 950 registered voters. You're lucky if 300 or 325 show up to vote.
True.
So if she's got a base of 600, that's not too bad. And what's the cost include? It's very reasonable. If
It's just $500 donation. It's
we
just
can afford
It's a
that.
donation.
We
cost.
certainly can't afford to put it in the All Points Bulletin every month. can we?
No. Then we're defeating the whole purpose of the thing.
Because he's gonna end up filtering it anyway.
Well, no, if you pay for an ad, he can't touch it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're not
we
gonna
can't
pay a
afford
couple
an ad
of
every
months.
No, we're not.
No way.
We can't afford that, but anyway, so the thing is the big question is, I can take the notes, and I can even check with Linda before we leave tonight and say, okay, so we talked about 5 different things, and that's what the newsletter would include. Do we want to vote on what's going to be included
No.
at the end of the meeting? So I can just go
No,
ahead and type
please, no.
something up and give it to the chief the next day?
Please, no.
Within a few days?
No, let's not proliferate this whole thing. Let's keep it very, very, very simple.
Okay.
When do you do the minutes, Linda?
Within 3 days.
Within 3 days. You get the minutes and you write from that.
Okay. Yep.
Now, you're a normal human being. You don't run
Thank
around with like a chicken here. Okay? I'm assuming that you take accurate notes. I'm just assuming this, and I think I'm right to assume that.
Okay.
Fine. Then you give it to the chief. The chief's okay with it, into Fugi. That's the simplest way.
Okay.
We want to keep it as concise as
Yes.
possible. Emphasis
Small
on
piece.
concise.
All pages, otherwise people get bored.
No one's gonna read it.
Could we also then take that, is there a place to fit it in on our website that says
Absolutely.
blog?
So on our homepage, I have mine from the chief, my introduction to the website. I can just put that right underneath that, so when people are at the end of my little introduction, they'll see Fire Commissioner's Corner, newsletter, and they can have a link that they can click on, and it will pop up the newsletter. But that would be right on our homepage.
Do you have a counter on that page as to how many people read it?
We don't have a counter.
Why don't you get that if it doesn't cost too much?
So on average, around 50 people watch the videos a month.
50
We
people.
do have a counter because YouTube counts that,
Oh,
Okay.
because they're tagged on. We upload it to YouTube and you have a link. So
If there's a number, does that mean that the whole video has been watched or only part of it, or how?
no, it means that people have signed in and started watching it.
Started watching?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it says that they watched it completely.
Okay.
They could have scanned through it and gotten to the points that they wanted to see.
I
But you
didn't know it was.
you can actually count the number of hits you have on your website without a counter.
Yeah, it's through GoDaddy, so I have to contact GoDaddy because they're a host agency to see if I can get that information, if they can send me that information or if there's some way.
Yeah, they should have it so that you can see how many hits you have, how many unique hits you have. So like, if your wife wants to see you, because she never sees you when she's logging onto the website to look at the video 40 times, you
To
know.
hear my voice.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so that wouldn't be a
those things.
unique visitor, so we could say we have X number of unique visitors and, X number of repeat visitors and stuff like that. And that should be somewhere in the data of the website hosting.
Yeah, I will look into that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? No?
We've got to renew our insurance.
Yes, we do. And I heard from Tony Kelly today.
Okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So he sent me the renewal paperwork, and I was going to ask the commissioners if they feel we need to change it all, or do you believe the policy is a strong policy? I believe it's a very strong policy.
Do you believe we have to change?
At this point, I'm going to reread it, and we don't have to do anything before the next meeting. We can make decisions, but part of the packets next month, if I remember, I can say the air made any changes or recommendations to the insurance policy.
Why did you read it?
And Tony will be here as well, so he would be here.
Yeah.
He's going to be here on the 27th at the booth at the open house.
Right, okay. And then you make a recommendation to us at the next meeting and we'll go.
Yeah, because we had a very good conversation about it last go around when we went, when we changed. And it was very detailed. So I think our policy is very strong.
Good. And you will keep it strong and give us your recommendation at the next meeting.
Okay. I'd like to make sure everybody understands our open house is coming up on the 27th, Saturday the 27th of August. And
What time?
it's from 11 to 3, and we have some posters around the community now. So hope we have a couple hundred people, as usual, come through. The Volunteer Association will most likely be making hot dogs and hamburgers and things like that too. My wife's going to make some cookies, maybe some cupcakes. Who knows? I think she'll be helping cook because she likes to cook, so she'll be in the tents cooking hamburgers. But we hope that the public from both sides of the international boundary come and enjoy the day with us and bring the children. We're going to make a little obstacle course this year for the kids, and it's a combat course. They'll have to wear their plastic helmet and carry some hose up and down some steps, and drag a little hose mannequin, drag some hose and spray the hose. And so I think so I think it'll be something that we haven't done in the past that some organizations do. That's where the idea comes from. So I'm going to use John's carpentry skills to make some stairs on the platform that the kids have to go up and down.
And you did tell Shannon about one of the commissioners always dresses up as a clown.
That's you. No, that's you.
I think it's the newest one.
I don't think so.
That's the
I'm
rite of
not
passage.
a true commissioner because I'm not appointed. I'm just appointed.
It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage. But I hope the public comes out. Hopefully this year our helicopter or helicopters will make it. And that is always fun for the kids, but we're going to have the medical, big bus here, dental van again. It's in partnership with the clinic, and they'll have some good things for the public as well. So I hope that everybody comes out and enjoys. Please tell your family, friends, neighbors.
Thank you. Anything else, Dan?
No, just continue to water the plants out front.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
That was really, really nice. I don't know if the public's aware of this, but we had a little trouble with the plants, and she came over and hospitalized the plants and redid them.
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She
Was it because
came.
you miracle
She
No.
You said so.
Yes, I did. We did apply some Miracle Grow to them, but they were already needing some hospitalization prior to that, and we thought the Miracle Grow may help the plants recover, but they were not. And we do water, I'd have to say at least 5 times a week within the EMTs that are here, staff on the weekends, those sorts of things. And anytime I come here, I ask if the plants have been watered, and I check the dirt to see if it's moist, and if not, then we go ahead and water them again.
Cool.
So we will try to help these plants and not put any Miracle Grow because she is
Well,
advising against
I
that.
wanted to publicly thank Darlene for coming over
Yeah.
and doing what she did.
She's very generous, and so it's very
Extremely.
thoughtful of her and very kind. So thank you very much as well.
You're a good plant daddy. I don't care what it is. Oh, okay, I have 2 items I'll go very quick to.
Sorry, it's not done.
Shannon, would you be interested in giving the chief his evaluation this year?
Sure.
Yeah.
And chief, can you get her the required paperwork for that?
When will we do that?
No, just have it ready for the next month or the month after. September, October, okay. Chief, do you happen to have another $64 in your budget? Because personally, and I'm sure the 2 commissioners here agree, and probably yourself too, and the assistant chief as well, paint, put vinyl numbers, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, on the doors, the newly painted doors.
Yes.
Adds that little touch of professionalism.
Yes.
Do you think you'll have that, $64?
I,
$16 per number.
I'm wondering if you already spoke to someone regarding this because of the specific pricing that you're giving. I will speak to the person that I believe that you spoke to already and make sure that is correct. And he's been here, so he knows the doors.
I didn't know.
Getting the right size is important
That's right.
on the doors, because too small, bad. You'd rather have them bigger, so it's.
Yeah, that particular person, if it's the same one you talked to, asked me if you could shoot a picture, and then give
We can put it
the
back.
dimensions of the door to that particular person too.
Yeah,
So,
Yes.
and if you agree with that particular person, then I would agree with that particular person, so we'll make another deal.
Who's on first?
Who's on first? What's on second?
we have to get some deckling done, during our ILS, and I think I told the public last month that we're ILS licensed by the state now. So
What does
we're
that
an
mean?
intermediate life support organization. We're the only one in the county, that has made that step to advance EMT 24/7. So, that's a great thing for the community. But we have to get some deckling because the DOH, the Department of Health, came up and did their walkthrough and their approval of the organization. And we're missing some lettering on the ambulances that we need to provide and get done. So we meet the standard that's necessary for deckling, and we'll get that done at the same time.
Good. So, the same
So
particular.
you're gonna deckle the doors then?
So we will deckle the doors. as
Deckles
well,
and numbers.
with,
Okay.
1 through 4.
Point out
Well,
that
in the order
Commissioner
to-
Riffle was tickled by.
I know that you'd like to do that door one on the far side of it.
No, door 1 is right here.
Okay.
And door 4 will be the last
I
one.
just have to check, you know,
Yeah.
the doors went red, now we're
Yeah,
gonna
so
get.
it'll start
numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4. Because other people tried to tell me that it should go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, the numbers will be backwards.
No, they must be Asian. Some-
Because
Right.
we do not read from, we read left to right, not right to left.
Right,
So it has to be left to right number.
and it'll be the same size, the number would be the same size regardless of the size of the doors, because you got 2 doors that are smaller and 2 doors that are bigger.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have bigger numbers on the 2 bigger doors.
No, it'll be consistent throughout, and it'll look very professional. And yes, there are some languages that people read from right
Right
to
to
left,
left, yes.
and that is a very good point. But we will have it left to right. So.
Right.
Okay, very nice. It's 13 after 5 o'clock. Anybody else have anything? Because if not, then we'll close it up. No?
Motion to adjournment.
There you go. And then second?
Second.
Good, pass, gone.